This is part 2 of 3 parts in a quick recount of the main features of Amanda Laurie's Vertigo, a pastoral. We're looking here at page 57, which is in part 2 of the novella. And part 2 is the rising action and complications that are leading to the climax and resolution in part 3. So if you'd like to read along, at the top of page 57, we have one of the images by Lorraine Biggs. So you could look at the way in which the images by Lorraine Biggs' work within the context of the novel. I have created my own simple visual representations to try and reinforce the distinctively visual nature of the text. So I'll read to you now from page 57. Months pass and they move into a difficult spring. It seems that almost every day the winds blow and there will be no spring rain. The drought is one thing, the hectoring wind is another. No one warned them about the wind. Sometimes on the coast it can bluster for weeks at a time, but this year is worse than any gill can remember. The surrounding grass, faded to a mustard colour, turns orange at the tips from windburn. Even the trees begin to get a crisp look. Their canopy is brittle and the undergrowth dried to tinder. On her walks, Anna can see that the grasslands are eaten down to bare stubble and grey sandy soil, while the great fortified homestead hovers like a mirage on a plain of shimmering straw. One afternoon, a flock of glossy black cockatoos alights on a cluster of she-oaks in the western corner of the yard, where they screech in ear-splitting decibels until dusk. I've chosen this passage to complement the passage that you hopefully have just viewed from part 1 because it builds on the techniques already established. So you have the strong colour imagery, you have the mustard colour of the grass, the orange tips from the windburn, you have the shimmering, the glossy black cockatoos, and that will become relevant when you see what I've chosen for part 3. And again, both passages look at the west. So in the western corner in this case, so north, south, east and west, that sense of being placed geographically is very important in this text. I've also chosen this passage because it references Gil, and aside from Anna, Luke and the boy, I find Gil to be the most intriguing and compelling character because he brings a great deal of the intertextuality with the references to Garanulla being originally Ross's farm, which is a reference back to Henry Lawson. And so just the mere reference to Gil and his connection to the land gives me the opportunity to talk about aspects other than what are in the actual passage. Sometimes in the paper you'll be given a passage from the prose fiction text and you'll be asked to relate that passage to the rest of the novella or novel or whatever the prose text is. And I think that if you were to receive a passage such as any of the 3 that I'm presenting, that they would give you a really good starting point from which to work. I will proceed in the next clip, now that we've looked at rising action and complication, in the final clip, we'll look at climax and resolution. So I will proceed.